Welcome to the Criminal Defense Show, where we dive into the exciting world of criminal defense attorneys. I am your host, Kelly Carpenter. My guest today is Phillip Hayes. He is a criminal defense attorney and founder of the Hayes Law Firm. He has a lot of experience and represents clients throughout Indiana, particularly those having to do with specialized driving privileges, expungement, or counsel with DWI, drug, or violent crime charges. He is also a former Division I collegiate athlete, and he's fiercely determined to take his practice to the next level and beat out his competition with his impeccable online reviews. Welcome to the show, Phil.
Thank you, Kelly.
Wonderful. Well, before we get into the legal aspect, I wanted to ask you about your history as a Division I collegiate football athlete. Not everybody can say that. And it says a lot about you as a person, just with that being in your background. So tell me about that experience.
Well, I'm originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Not necessarily known for the big time football there. I was recruited by several colleges. I ended up going to junior college out in California for 1 year. And then I was recruited by several SEC schools, a couple Big Ten schools, and I chose to sign up with University of Arkansas, the Razorbacks. I played my final 4 years there. Ended up 1997, finishing my undergrad there, political science major. 1996, we were the SEC West champions. Played in the SEC championship game against the eventual national champions, Florida, quarterbacked by Wolford. So it was a good experience. And a lot of things I do with my practice is grounded on the discipline and the focus, the motivation that I've gained and experienced throughout the years through my athletics.
That makes sense. My husband was also a Division I athlete, not football, but baseball. And it's the same thing with him. That experience carries over into every aspect of his life, especially his career. So that's really cool. Well, tell me a little bit about your law practice. Where are you guys based? What kind of cases do you work on? Give me a little background about the history.
Well, I graduated from law school in, I believe, early 2000. And I first started out doing civil work. I believed I was going to be a paper pusher, not a litigator. My first job was dealing with family law issues, bankruptcy. So I really didn't have a lot of trial experience from my first job. I was there for a year, and that was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I didn't really care to be back in my hometown. I kind of like being in a more hustle of the bigger city of Indianapolis in central Indiana. So I came back to Indianapolis, that is, without a job, and went with a criminal defense attorney, took me under his wing for about a year. And then I decided I needed more experience. So I signed up with the Marion County Public Defender's Agency. I worked there for 5.5 years. And then I decided to start my own practice. So we started our own practice 2013, focused on, like you said, criminal defense work with focus on DUIs, expungements, specialized driving privileges, and drug cases. I like to say my practice is a practice that really focuses on people who just make mistakes. People that I could see that could be my family member. I could see them as one of my colleagues that just made a mistake. And it's my job at Hayes Law Office to give them the opportunity to try to get their life back on track and put them as close as possible to where they were before they made that mistake.
So take me through a typical day at your law firm.
Okay. So most days I am on the road throughout the state of Indiana. State of Indiana, we have 92 counties. I've practiced in 52 or 59 of the counties in the state. With that all said, we take great pride in going wherever people need our help. So most of the time throughout the day, I'm riding to county. I may get back later on in the afternoon, and then that's when I focus on the business aspect of the practice. I believe with regards to my overall practice, it's probably about 50-50 when it comes to just litigating in court and then focusing straight on the business aspect, organizing, getting the other attorney ready for the next day, getting staff in line on what they need to prep for the next coming week.
So 59 counties, that's a big service area. I'm assuming you spend a ton of time in the car driving around.
Yes, so Indianapolis is centrally located in the state of Indiana. So the majority of the populated counties are the donut counties around Marion County, Indianapolis. So we spend most of our time driving probably under 45 minutes to most of our destinations.
Okay, that's not bad. Not too bad.
It is not LA.
True. Thank goodness for you. Your driving would look a lot different. You'd be listening to a lot of podcasts and books on tape and anything you could get in during that time. Well, what have been some challenges that you have faced growing your practice over the years?
Well, when we started in 2013, I had quite a bit of time to focus on building a solid base for the practice. One of the things I took interest in was looking at how to gain potential clients from a Google search, a Bing search, a Yahoo search. So I did my research on SEO and a certain amount of marketing. And at that time, a lot of the older firms weren't capitalizing on the opportunities that Google search and so forth through SEO could provide them. So we had an upper hand on a lot of our potential competition when it comes to our general area of practice. Now, throughout the years, competition has grown quite a bit because a lot of younger firms, they have the information and the knowledge on what they need to do when it comes to marketing and trying to put themselves in position to gain the potential clients that we used to have a more stranglehold on. So we're always trying to gain the upper hand. That's one of the reasons why we have reached out and started working with Scorpion, because we believe they had the knowledge and the wherewithal and the overall experience of putting us up in position of capitalizing on our brand. The Hayes Law Office brand is pretty strong in the state of Indiana, and we try to utilize each and every opportunity to get us out there in front of the people that may need our help.
So tell me a little bit about the brand itself. What is it that sets you apart from other attorneys out there, and how do you make sure that's communicated through all the online marketing that you're doing?
Well, we like to think we're a workhorse, and that we will take our clients where they need to go. And we will do whatever it takes. Like I said before, we try to get our clients back to the position they were before, or as close as they were before they may have made that mistake or that bad decision. With that all said, we try to provide comfort for our clients. They have to continue on to live their lives, provide for their families, and continue to work. So I tell them, hey, you cannot rewind the situation that you're in right now, but you're hiring Hayes Law Office for a reason. And that reason is that we know what we're doing, we have the experience, and most of all, we have the respect of the courts throughout the state of Indiana. So with that all said, how do we comfort our clients? Well, we use certain technology. Our clients have 24/7 access to their discovery, to all the documents that are provided by the prosecutor's office. It's uploaded to their personal portal. They also have 24/7 access to messaging us. And we try our best to use these tools through technology to make sure our clients have the opportunity to know they can communicate with their attorney. A person, a PI, which is a public intoxication, might not mean much to one client, but it might be a big deal to another client. So we try our best to ensure that each and every one of our clients know that we're there for them and that they have access to us 24/7 and they'll be well taken care of because of some of the technology that we enable them to use, because we can't always take a phone call.
Right.
Like I said before, we're not always in the office. And so we try our best to use all tools to make our clients feel that they are number one on our list.
I love it. Well, what other practices have been beneficial to you in running the business and running your law practice?
Well, I've always tried to get uh, staff that believe in what we're trying to do here at Hayes Law Office. Of course, it is a business, but also I did get in this business because I wanted to help people. I like taking care of people. I like the aspect of the practice of that. It's not just Phillip Hayes that makes Hayes Law Office run or go for or successful. It's a team concept. And my firm is small. We're like a basketball team, a starting five, but we all have our roles. And, I may be the guy that's going down the lane, Karl Malone, dunking the ball, but I need a John Stockton to give me that assist. So I've always tried to get staff that understand the law, believes in the law, loves the law, and also can eventually move from being a staff or paralegal to going ahead and going to law school. So I've always liked that paralegal, that staff person that was close enough to be an attorney, but that was an attorney. But I gave them opportunity to see if this is good fit for them. And on the flip side, they had provided me with strong reinforcement and support in our endeavors to help our clients.
Very important. And that's a common theme with a lot of guests that we've had on this show is the importance of surrounding yourself with a good team, because you're only as good as the people who work with you in a tight-knit group like a law firm. It's just so super important, something I hear very commonly. Well, I want to pivot to a topic that I think you're going to be very insightful about because you have some excellent online reviews. And it's clear that you've put a lot of work and effort into getting people who have worked with your business to interact with you professionally and finish the process by actually following through and leaving the review online. So tell me how you singled that out as an aspect of marketing that you really wanted to focus on.
Well, it is a great question, thoughtful question. I remember when I was a quote unquote young guy, I did not believe in reviews. When I'm looking for something from Best Buy or a store back in the day, I go to the store and I see what I want and I'll just get it without looking to see what other people thought of it, because it didn't matter to me what other people thought. As progression through, and especially as a businessman, I started to understand that what people's thoughts are about a certain product, about a certain business is very important, very influential. And I started really understanding that it takes time for someone to do a review on a product or a business. So people respect reviews because they know time is taken to do that review. So I set out to, in the beginning of my practice, to say, hey, how do I get an interaction between my former clients and my potential clients? All these former clients are saying, hey, Mr. Hayes, you guys did a good job for us and for myself. How can we help? Or what can I do? Or I will refer people to you guys. And that's when I started focusing and fixating on giving them opportunity to share their thoughts with potential clients and other clients. So we have taken it upon ourselves to give them certain um, opportunities to have their thoughts shared through reviews, especially Google reviews.
Especially Google reviews. So tell me about that. Why especially Google reviews?
Yes, we focus at Hayes Law Office on Google reviews because probably around 90% of our potential clients find us through a Google search. Of course, a big portion of our clients are referrals, but when it comes to people who have no previous contact with any of our prior clients, they are finding us through a Google search. Uh, Google is king when it comes to reviews and because of the searches. So I believe compared to Alvo and lawyers.com, we probably have quadruple the amount of reviews on Google compared to them formats and profiles.
That's perfect. And that's honestly a perfect ratio. You're doing all the right things, it sounds like. Is working on reviews something that other attorneys can manage on their own, or is this something they should seek outside help with?
It just depends on the size of your practice. That's a time thing. Um, I think there's quite a few tools out there that uh, a small firm can use um, to address the lack of time to focusing on getting reviews from former clients. So Hayes Law Office, throughout the years, we managed our own reviews. Sometimes we'll send out, like I said, a link a few weeks later, or we try our best to do follow-up calls with some of our clients. And at that point in time, we ask them, hey, how was your experience? If they said their experience was a certain way, then, well, would you like to comment on your experience with a review? So sometimes if the firm has the time, it's always best to be hands-on. I really, truly believe. Because again, the best clients are going to be referrals. And you always are trying your best to make sure, even after the process is over, the case is over, that that client felt like they had a fair shake in court and that their attorney and that firm worked hard on their behalf.
Absolutely. Very, very important. What's something you now know that you did not know when you were starting out or still in the early stages of your law firm?
Well, I believe the number one thing is this is not just about getting into the courthouse and litigating. When you have your own firm, your own practice, I have continued to be astonished by how much it is about business. And when we talk about business, we're not just talking about revenue. We're talking about just knowing how to manage people, knowing how to organize your everyday schedule and practice, knowing how to insert people, staff where they need to be inserted to make the team win. One of the models that we are always saying, win, 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 no matter what. In order to win no matter what, all hands have to be on deck, having knowledge of what we're trying to do. And a lot of it is all about the business and organization, organizing your firm, your practice. In the end, going to court, litigating. I've been doing this for 17 years. That's not the tough part about the practice. It's always the evolution of the business aspect of the firm.
Very good. And I think it's worth noting too that if you're an attorney who isn't necessarily jazzed about the idea of running the business and you really just want to focus on being a lawyer and litigating and going to court, if that's what makes you happy and that's where you want to live, maybe don't run your own practice. Maybe go work for someone else, someone like Phillip Hayes, who has that element altogether.
That's absolutely correct. This is not for every attorney. Not all attorneys are built for this. There are some excellent attorneys that I've befriended over the years that have attempted to start their own practice that were, like I said, excellent attorneys, but they're not built for the business aspect of building a firm. And that's something that comes to a great surprise to a lot of attorneys out here. It's not all about results in the courtroom. There's other aspects that you have to learn if you're truly going to have a prosperous business.
Well, Phillip, it's been so great having you today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for passing on a lot of your wisdom to our listeners.
Thank you for having me, Kelly. It's been a pleasure.
Where can people go to find you online or look up more about you?
Well, Kelly, they can go to thehayslawoffice.com. That's our main website. And we're on all the social media platforms. So we're not hard to find. And we look forward to helping more of our clients try to get back to where they were before they made that mistake or had that eventful night. We're always ready to help.
Love it. Well, thanks again, Phillip. If you found today's episode helpful, do us a favor, share it with people in your circle. We would greatly appreciate that. And remember, you're always able to check out the show notes over on our website, scorpion.co. That's scorpion.co without the M. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.